and it's a pleasure to have you join us. As the fate of dozens of abducted school children and teachers in Oyo State remains uncertain, a human rights activist has taken an extraordinary step to draw national attention to their plight. In the commercial city of Onitsha, Anambra State, social critics and civil rights campaigner Vincent Ezekweme has begun a 14-day hunger strike, demanding urgent action to secure the release of the victims kidnapped from schools in Orire local government area of Oyo State. The activist says his protest is aimed at keeping public attention focused on the suffering of the school children, teachers and their families, while also increasing pressure on authorities and security agencies to intensify rescue efforts. The abduction, which shocked many Nigerians, involves students, pupils, and teachers who were taken by armed attackers during a raid on schools in Oyo State. Since the incident, disturbing reports and videos allegedly showing the conditions of some victims in captivity have continued to fuel public concern and outrage. According to Ezekweme, the hunger strike is a symbolic sacrifice intended to stand in solidarity with families who have spent weeks living with uncertainty, fear, and emotional trauma. The activists described the suffering of the victims and their loved ones as unbearable, arguing that no parent should have to endure the pain of not knowing whether their child is safe, alive, or in danger. He explained that the protest is not directed only at government authorities, but also at the abductors themselves. He appealed to those holding the victims captive to release them unconditionally and abandon what he described as a cruel and inhuman act. Ezekweme urged the perpetrators to reflect on the value of human life and reconsider their actions before more damage is done to innocent families. At the same time, he called on security agencies to increase efforts aimed at locating the victims and bringing them back home safely. According to him, every available resources should be deployed to ensure the children and teachers are rescued as quickly as possible. The activist also stressed that school environments must never become hunting grounds for criminals. He warned that repeated attacks on schools could discourage parents from sending their children to class and undermine confidence in the country's education system. His protest comes at a time when concerns about insecurity in schools are growing across Nigeria. Over the past decades, several high-profile kidnappings involving school children have attracted global attention and raised serious questions about the safety of educational institutions. Ezekweme noted that this is not the first time he has embarked on a hunger strike over national issues. He recalled participating in similar protest actions during the aftermath of the June 12 election annulment and during campaigns for the release of the Chibok and Dapchi schoolgirls. For him, the current situation in Oyo State demands the same level of national attention and urgency. The Civil Liberty Organization, which he leads in Anambra State, also joined calls for stronger action from government authorities. The group appealed to the federal government, security agencies, and affected states' governments to prioritize the safe return of the victims. The organization warned that every day spent in captivity increases the emotional and psychological burden on both the victims and their families. The group further argued that restoring public confidence requires more than rescue operations. According to the organization, authorities must also strengthen school security nationwide to prevent similar attacks in the future. Security experts have repeatedly warned that schools located in remote and vulnerable communities require additional protection measures, including improved intelligence gathering, rapid response systems, and stronger cooperation between communities and security agencies. The latest protest is likely to increase public pressure on authorities already facing criticism over the pace of rescue efforts. Across Nigeria, many citizens continue to follow developments closely, hoping for positive news about the fate of the abducted children and teachers. For families waiting anxiously for their loved ones to return home, every passing day brings renewed uncertainty. For activists like Ezekweme, silence is no longer an option. His hunger strike has transformed one man's protest into a nationwide appeal for action, compassion, and urgency. The bigger question now is whether growing public pressure will accelerate efforts to rescue the release of the victims and prevent future attacks on schools across the country. As the nation watches and waits, the demand remains simple: bring the children and their teachers home safely. What more should government and security agencies do to protect schools and rescue victims across Nigeria? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to First Next News and turn on your notification for more updates on security, politics, and national development. I am Kasitoni, and many thanks for watching.